Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. You guys are new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And let's get started. I want to go over Pi first before I go over OMI and Grumpycat because somebody had messaged me last night. It's like, hey, have you heard of Pi? And obviously I made videos about this quite some time ago. A bunch of y'all are in my network. I think the link was down below for a while. And then after like 2 years, I was like, okay, guys, something might happen with this eventually, and it still might. But then they're like, hey, listen, Randy, Pi is like $35. And I'd heard that before, and I was like, if I can remember correctly, like there's no way to actually trade it. And then he's like, no, it's out. There's like volume on it, and there is. You go onto if you go to CoinGecko, you cannot. It doesn't work if you just type in Pi. It's Pi and then network, and then it'll come up. But it's on CoinGecko. It's not on Binance. It's just it shows what it's listed at, and it's about $35. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I have 51,000 Pi. And he's like, bro, I don't want to get your hopes up, but you have like $1.75 million in Pi. And I was like, yeah. And then you go to it after you KYC and you're just like, okay, well, after my KYC, I only have like 1,000 Pi, which is still $35,000, still pretty nice. But in order to get the rest of it, the rest of your team has to KYC. So if you have Pi, I know a lot of y'all do, go and KYC. You'll get a little bit, you'll get a fraction of yours. I guess I have 2% of mine. And then the more that people do it, the more that your team and everyone else will all get some of theirs. But I cannot find any way to migrate it from the closed network that it's on in order to go to an exchange, which again, it does seem to be on exchanges. It seems to be on HTX, Bitmart, and CoinW. And again, there is volume. There's 671,000 in volume. So it is being traded, but there seems to be no way to move it. I think some were moved originally, and that's what's being traded right now. And, we're not really able to trade ours. Comment down below if you know anything about Pi. Anyway, before I get into OMI, let's do the Grumpycat real quick. Let's see what has befallen this. It's down a lot. It's down like 18%. So it's down below the $3 million market cap again. I'm actually going to get a little bit tomorrow. I should just get a little bit tonight. I get paid tomorrow, so let's get it tonight. I'll recoup it tomorrow. I won't get a ton. I'll get a couple $100 worth. Got to save for Dubai and France. But I will get a little bit more just because it's, in my opinion, again, I really like the project. I really like, the main dev's super well connected, and there's just, I just know what's coming. And there's a lot of, I think, potential. So again, that's where I'm putting my money, at least a little bit of it. Again, a couple $100, is neither here nor there, but it's just a little bit here, a little bit there. Anyway, speaking of knowing what's coming, I don't know what it is with some people. When we'll start with OMI. We'll start with the video, which I have explained in yesterday's video. But I've been getting a bunch of comments be like, is OMI like done for? Is there no VeVeVerse? And they're like, I'm like, oh my god, did you all not watch the video? Like, did you? So I have to go and report. Like, obviously, when David says, hey, we're moving full steam ahead with utility, that means they're still working on it. Obviously, when you hire an entire blockchain team of like 10 people, there might not be 10 people. There might be a little bit less, a little bit more. I don't know really. But when you hire a blockchain team with multiple people, and you're likely spending, I don't know, $1 million on it a year, figure they get 100,000 each, and they're, 10 of them, again, there could be a little bit more, there could be a little bit less, they could be paid a little bit more or less. I don't know. Again, I don't work for Veve. I don't have any official attachment with them. But you don't just put $1 million a year into something, hiring people and then just abandon it. You don't. Anyway, but a lot of people did go and talk about delays. So I want to go and read a message that I sent to a couple of people before, and then I had gone on and resent it to a friend who was asked me about OMI. So I was like, okay, well, people are interpreting delays They interpret delays as the team not caring. And recency bias has people think that what has happened will continue to happen. So even though the app has gotten some major upgrades this year, people are ignoring that and only focusing on the current delays, as in what's being delayed right now, mainly VeVeVerse. And partly due to our panel not asking many OMI-related questions, the OMI holders are frustrated with lack of exchanges. The people who show absolutely no signs of investor intelligence don't get that you don't want to do certain things in a bear market, and what they want will have a net negative effect on everyone's investment. Despite David saying they are moving full steam ahead with utility, people don't see or understand what they're doing, and again, interpreting it as a team not caring about the token or its investors. The price going down while everything else is pumping doesn't help, but because this is a lot of people's first time in crypto or investing in general, they can't grasp that not everything pumps at the same time. So we have had a couple of people sell over the last few days. So if you're just somebody that just kind of watches casually, or just, you're not really on Twitter, you don't get a ton of updates, and you're just like, which a friend of mine, is super, super busy, and he's just like, hey, I just noticed, OMI's kind of down the last few days, what's going on? I don't think he saw the interview. I don't think he even know I did an interview with David again. So he was just curious. So I said, well, a few things. First, the core audience, which is from crypto, they do expect things in that instant gratification. There's no delayed gratification for a lot of people in crypto. I need this coin to moon immediately. As a result, there's been a few people who are selling near the bottom so they can chase those green candles. With not a ton of volume, the sell pressure is making the coin go down. So I say second, what the team is doing is complex and hard, especially for non-technical people to understand. If you've never invested or worked in tech before, you're just going to see this and think, oh, delay, and you're not going to see that this is just par for the course in tech. So there's been an above average amount of FUD recently claiming Veve can't do anything, which isn't helping OMI currently. And third, the core group that has been here since the beginning, when the team would have unlimited hours to really go on Twitter Spaces or Telegram conversations with them, but the company has grown and they can't anymore. So now people are just seeing what it's like to be real investors. Not that we have to wait for earnings calls to see anything, but the time we have in between updates has potentiated by a lot. And fourth, it's a bear market, so even if OMI was on exchanges, it has no utility or demand, so there's not a lot of stability, and a decent amount of these is from a dump that we saw from I think it was OKX a few days ago. There was like a couple billion OMI moved. And again, despite all that, despite all that OMI going there and a lot of down pressure, it's not doing as bad as I actually thought it would. So again, I think it'd be fine to buy down here for me and Dashy. I would totally go and buy, but I'm putting this part of this week's paycheck into Grumpycat. Next week, I might do a little bit of OMI. If it goes down more, great, I can get more. If it stays the same, also cool. If it goes back up, okay, it's likely still be in the triple zeros, which is a fine accumulation point for me. Anywho, moving on. All right, so I mentioned the VeVeVerse. I can't find it. Somebody sent it to me before, where David had mentioned that the VeVeVerse is going to, you're going to have the first iteration of it. And not to expect a whole big metaverse with IP branded worlds and land sales and doing a whole bunch of stuff the first time. So what did people hear? Did they hear the whole thing, or did they hear just the first part of don't expect all of this? Guys, what we are getting in the home space is the first iteration of the VeVeVerse. It is, and when David goes and says this, like, don't expect all of this right away, and I'm like, what does that face mean? I swear there's a bunch of autists on here that just cannot interpret facial expressions. And what does that face mean to you? That face means like, oh yeah, that's not what we're getting at first, but again, we know what's coming. We know that there are IP branded worlds coming. One of them was already announced with Ron English's Delusionville. I guarantee you there's at least half a dozen others being worked on. Do I know what they are? I have no idea. Do I know the exact number? I have no idea. But if they have one and they've been planning this for 2 years now, you can be damn sure that there are multiple. So again, Ron English's Delusionville is the first one that was announced. The other ones, whatever they are, I mean, I guess VV City could be one of the IP branded worlds. I don't know. We have that. We have the land sale that's still, they're not ready for it, but that is still planned. They still have a bunch of stuff with, and that's part of the gold logo utility. Speaking of gold logo utility, Lori Brunner is offering a unredeemed gold logo. It is from David. She's doing this for the First Responders Children's Foundation. That is Al Kahn's charity. It goes to children that are in need, where they lose a parent or parents that are first responders. It just helps them out. So it's a big organization, and she has it on. It's a silent auction. You could buy it for, again, it's an unredeemed card. You could redeem all the other stuff with it. And it does come with lunch or breakfast with Al Kahn and like 2 friends. So it's perfect. The bidding started at $4,000. I think I'm the highest bid at $4,069 right now. So you got to beat that. Be advised, one just sold for like $4,850 like a couple days ago. So this is a really good time if you want to go and get it. You could actually get it, let's say, for $4,300 and then sell it for $40. I mean, the floor now is $5,400. There's this arbitrage, but again, I doubt it goes for that cheap. It'll likely go for five grand, if not 6 or 7, because you do have that added utility with breakfast or lunch with Al Kahn and 2 friends, and you could talk to him about whatever. Anyway, that's part of the gold logo utility. Is if you have one, you'll get this golden ticket. They might have changed that now, I don't know. And that golden ticket will guarantee you a piece of land, or guarantee you the option to buy a piece of land. So there's a lot of things that people, I guess they're like goldfish. They have this really bad short-term memory where they say, they see David just say in half of one sentence, don't expect all this. They ignore the second half where say at first, talking about all of these things. They have the customizable avatars. They're going to have, like I said, that land sale. And phase 4, if I'm remembering correctly, was the gamification with all the stuff inside the VeVeVerse. So again, are we going to get all of those in 2024? No. Will we get the first half? Yeah, the home space and the OMI 2 accessory, which is in phase 1, will probably be in Q1. Latest, I would say Q2. But again, I would say that's definitely the first half. And then, okay, what's next after that? IP branded worlds. One is announced. Others will be announced in succession with that. Do I think we get that in Q1 as well? No. Do I think we get that in Q2? Maybe, but we're definitely going to get that next year. Customizable avatars doesn't seem like it should be too hard to do. So I feel like that's probably fine as well. Gamification, I think, might be might have to wait till 2025 for that. But again, they could surprise us. Obviously, on top of that, we have the bronze utility tickets that are coming out are both MCP and OUP. And again, when David said, hey, we'll be in France from X dates, I'll give you guys the dates right now. We'll be in France. It is January the 25th to the 27th. And they will talk about both Veve and OMI. I don't know how people are parsing at every word that he says and then choose it. That's selective hearing. Oh, he's saying all of these things, but I'm going to choose to only comment on these things. People are so freaking dumb, I swear. Breaking news. Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty on all 7 counts, Reuters reports. Huzzah to that. Also, speaking of breaking news, Reverend Alex G goes and says, breaking, DesignerCon moving to Vegas for 2024. That's right, we're officially announcing that the show's move to Las Vegas. More info on the 2024 Vegas show to come, but let's make this farewell show one for the books. And that is from the Dcon Discord. Now, I don't think that Reverend Alex G would go and repost this unless Veve had planned at some point to go to Vegas. I think Vegas is always fun. There's always a bunch of... They were just in Vegas a few months back for a licensing thing. Obviously, this is just for Dcon. It's likely that Veve's not going to Dcon. They would have probably announced it by now. It's likely they're not going to Dcon in 2023 here. That's going to be in December because, again, they have pretty much confirmed they are going to France. David did say on the stream that he would likely stop by Dubai the week after that for Rashid Al Farooq's Speedy Comics PopCon. It's the most popular PopCon convention in the Middle East. I don't think they'll actually have a booth there. They were offered a free booth there, but again, it takes a lot in order to go set things up, to have people work, to pay people to do that. Even though the booth might be free, you're still probably going to pay your people. Say like, hey, you're going to be working for 12 hours a day. You're probably going to have to give them something. I guess it could take volunteers. I might go anyway to that, so I'll keep you all posted. But again, they're not going to talk about those other things that are after Dcon without announcing Dcon. So likely they're not going to go to Dcon this year. And likely, I'm going to say that they're going to try to go to Dcon 2024 because it's Vegas. Everyone wants to find an excuse to go to Vegas. I don't know if I mentioned this in yesterday's video. Mr. Rolex's, or Dr. Rolex.eth, he had the unfortunate issue of clicking on something in the Chico Roco Discord. So it's their official Discord. So there's an official link. He clicked on it. His wallet got drained. Bad times. And from what I hear, Chico Roco is absolutely not doing anything to rectify this, and they're not doing anything to go and try to go and be like, to just correct that mistake that was made, again, on their official Discord. That is not a good look for them. Prayers out to Dr. Rolex. Hopefully Mr. Rolex can go and find, whoever did that and get some of his stuff back. And also, this is why I'm happy that Veve is kind of their own walled off community right now, because this does not happen on Veve. Nobody gets their stuff stolen on Veve. This is, I'm fine if Veve wants to keep it this way for however long they want to. Shout out to Rootless Girl that says, just returned from my awesome trip from Japan, starting to catch up with everything I missed, talking about VeVeX Tracker, and VeVeX Tracker does have some really interesting stuff. So the monthly report for October is as follows. The active user, the new active wallets, is 23,201, so it's up 6.7%. The new wallets, 680 new wallets, up 42.86%. That is month over month, obviously. The market activity, the trades were up 1.6% to 120,000. The buyers were down 1.3% to 12,000. And the sellers were up 3% to 11,800. The drops remained the same, 25 drops. The minters we had were up 15% to 18,000 minters. The tokens issued were down 13% to 136,000. Tokens minted were down 0.4% to 101,000. And the tokens issued minted ratio 74.68%, which is up 15.3%. So shout out to Rootless Girl, the Veve Fox, for keeping us informed. So Veve goes this morning. They're cute with this. They good morning, GM, and they have like a spider, and they have it's a boy, but I thought it was like spider guy, spider dude. I was like, what are they doing? And I don't know why I didn't think of Spider Boy. So Spider Boy is relatively new, made. They were at, I don't know too much about him. From what I know is that when they were going from one of the Into the Spider-Verse comics, they were, okay, Peter's back, Miles is back, Jessica Drew is back, like all of these different spider people from across the Spider-Verse are coming back, and everyone remembers, and then Spider-Boy comes out, and everyone's like, who the heck are you? And then Spider-Boy's like, we've been on like a million adventures together. So what they're doing here in Marvel Comics is they're going and they're creating a new character, and the way they're writing it is really brilliant. It's from Dan Slott. He's a good dude. The way they're writing is saying, no, he's been there the whole time. It's just nobody remembers him. And I don't actually know how far the story gets. I just know that Spider-Boy, whose name is Bailey something, he's a little redhead dude. He's a little ginger. And he's got, nobody really remembers him. And May doesn't remember him. The school locker doesn't have anything. So that's just him coming into this new world where no one remembers him. He's essentially a ghost, because there's no cash, no credit, there's no job. I mean, the kid's like 11, so there's obviously no job history. There's no ID, no social security number, no anything. But it was at Marvel's panel this year, towards the end at Comic-Con. So this is probably going to be something that I would get this comic. Obviously ask Comics and Crypto, ask Sleep and Comics, but I would totally get this. It's Spider-Man. It's the first appearance of him. End of the Spider-Verse, number 7. That's his first appearance. That's the issue he comes in. We don't actually know his backstory or his name until issue 8, but he appears in issue 7. 5 rarities coming out November 9th. I would get this because it seems like Marvel's going to want to push him. It's supposedly like Spider-Man's sidekick, so this is going to be really, really interesting. Oh, shout out to Brock McBlockchain, because we have Unimmutable saying the top 9 Immutable X games were something Alluvium, something called SD, and then what is it at number 4? It's Feesh. So shout out to Brock for having the fourth most popular game on Immutable X right now on the Immutable Club. I thought that was really cool. Really good for him. Also, if anybody knows a Matthew from Ireland that's in the Veve fam, please let me know. He wants to get in contact with me, and I have this phone number, and I don't know. It's not showing up in like WhatsApp. It's not showing up in anything. Anyway, that'll be it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.